Okay guys, I am making pizza today.
I made sure and had Everett gather all the eggs he could find this morning. And I've got lots more today in various fun Easter egg hunt type locations. That's just fun. Look at that, even more eggs. Wow, that's a lot of eggs. We better start selling them or start making more German pancakes or omelets. I have really fond memories of gathering eggs from my grandparents' house in California as a kid. I used to do that. And along with that, you know, they had a 3-acre farm. And I remember the smell of the chicken coop. Something about that smell, you know, that went along with the feeling of being at my grandparents' house and gathering those eggs. And I could smell the cow manure in the mornings. You know, there are a lot of good feelings that come with farm smells, as silly as it may sound to those of you who may not agree with that or have not experienced that. But if you've had happy experiences on a farm ever before, then you'd probably agree with me wholeheartedly that the smells of a farm and of the country bring back very many fond memories.
I'm doing my flatbread recipe that you've seen in other videos, and I figured I should share it with you guys. It's really easy. So the first thing you do is you start with 5 cups of whole wheat flour. Okay, so I'm going to use my KitchenAid mixer. Next I do 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of yeast. This recipe makes about 8 personal sized pizzas. If you want, you can cut it in half and then you'll have 4. Then you do 2 teaspoons of salt. And I stir all my dry ingredients together. Okay, so I've added 2.5 cups of very warm water to my mix of dry ingredients. Now, 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then I'm going to mix it all together because my mixer gets annoyed when I don't mix it well beforehand. It just never mixes the bottom, so that's why I'm doing this. Oh, my mixer's on the ground. I don't have counter space.
The hook spins while it's spinning like the world around the sun.
It is like the world, you're right. That's awesome.
But you don't actually have to knead it for very long. So I turn my frying pan on low, almost as low as you can get, because the tendency is for it to burn before it cooks all the way. So I turn that on right now so that it can warm up. Now my bread dough, where is it? So I just turn my dough out onto my cutting board and I divide it into 8 equal pieces. It's kind of sticky, so I'm gonna
Put flour on?
Yep, put some flour on it.
And
I like it being sticky. It gives you a much more moist pizza dough. I've gotten it really dry before and it makes it way easier to work with your hands, but then it ends up being a really not yummy pizza.
Maybe.
You probably should let them rest for maybe 10 minutes before you cook with them, but I never do. And so the first one's usually a lot more dense. And I just make do because I'm too hungry. But yeah, a 10-minute rest would make it so that every single one, even the first one, will be nice and fluffy. We started making this flatbread because I was way too impatient to make real bread because I couldn't stand waiting for it to rise. You have to wait half an hour for it to rise and then you have to cook it for half an hour, and that's the fast bread. Most bread you have to rise it 3 or 2 times. And so I ended up putting my bread straight onto the frying pan because I couldn't wait. You just take your thing and you flatten it out, and depending on how thick you want it, you could probably go with thin crust pizza or thick. Obviously it takes longer to cook the thick way. We just put it like that, and then once it's kind of like looks like a tortilla on the bottom, so nice dark spots but not burnt spots, that's when I flip it over, and then I put on my tomato sauce and cheese and toppings and stuff while it's
Like
right
tomatoes.
after I flip it. I'm just gonna check underneath. It's cooking pretty good. It still feels a little bit raw, so I'm gonna leave it. And eat some. When the cheese falls on the side, it gets all cooked and yummy. It's like the best. Like I could just pour cheese on the frying pan and just eat the cooked cheese. These kind of dry out, so I usually clump them into a heap and put my lid or my bowl over it. Because otherwise they get really dry crust and it's kind of gross. Well, it's not gross, it's just dry. Okay, I'm too lazy to wait. That's pretty good. It's getting brown. And it's still cooking right now anyway. Where did my spoon go? Okay. So I don't have any more tomato paste, so I'm going to use tomato sauce, but it works either way. It just depends on the moisture you want. So I don't buy pre-mixed pizza sauce at the store. One, because the way you don't want random ingredients that they can throw in there, and number two, I just am too cheap, I guess. So I just go with this, and all I do is I sprinkle it with oregano, salt, and garlic.
And then put cheese on it.
So that's my oregano and my garlic
And then cheese.
and salt.
And
Then cheese. Can you give me the cheese over it? And this is the part where you would say, wait a minute, why aren't you using your cheese that you always make? Well, we ate it all, so and we're hungry, so we're gonna use store-bought cheese.
more.
And you can basically top it with anything at this point, you know. We've done it with cheddar cheese many times,
We've
and we
done
sprinkle
it-
it. We've put zucchini on it before. It's really yummy. What else have we
And with
done?
them.
Sometimes just cheese.
And not mushrooms.
You don't like mushrooms?
I like mushrooms.
Oh, you like
We put mushrooms on that.
Yeah, I like that too.
By far my most favorite is tomatoes and basil. And you can pretty much put anything on there. Whatever you want on your pizza.
Even strawberries.
I guess you could.
You could.
Or watermelon. Now they're fruity.
Like an army bunk bed or something.
Reminds me of something you'd see in a ship
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool.
or a train.
Look, it's ready. Yum.
Got a tomato in it.
Oh no.
It's an emergency.
And then usually in 2 seconds, yep, this is what happens. It's gone.
Can I have a piece now?
Go ahead. I don't want to cut your hand, so take it now. You love it? Thank you.